right, well, welcome back. And what we're going to talk about is significance tests. All right, significance tests. It's more specifically, all right, this is a one sample, all right, a one sample significance test, or sorry, one sample z-test, that's what we call it, z-test for p proportions, all right, for proportions. All right. And there are, just like when you did confidence intervals, if you ever watched my other videos or heard from your teacher and whatnot, it's really a four-step process. It's the same thing each time. All right. Little variations, just like if you did a one sample z interval for p, or did a one sample t interval for mean. We're going to go through a couple of those, but they're the same thing. The four-step process is pretty easy. You would need a state. State your parameter, okay? State the stat along with the hypothesis, along with your significance level that you want to do. Okay, and so the parameter, you want to state what that is, followed by the hypothesis and significance test. Next, you want to plan, and the plan is you need to name the conditions. So we're going to do a one sample z-test for p. And so what are the conditions? Well, if you look down here, whoop, all right, the conditions for a one sample, all right, z-test for p is this, all right? You need to figure out it's random. Oh, what do you mean? And then you need to do the 10% condition, all right? That's for independence, all right? Independence. If you notice that the sample is less than 10% of the population, guess what? You have independence, and therefore you can use this good old standard deviation, all right? You can use the sample standard deviation, all right, right there. That's the sample standard deviation. I'm sorry. That's not the sample standard deviation. This is the sample standard deviation, which is located right there, my friends. Okay, there it is. All right, that's our sample standard deviation. Next thing is we need to know if it's normal or not, all right, because that will help us with our p-value, and we can use large count condition just like when we have other values for p for the intervals and whatnot. And so we're going to do the large count, where n is going to be times p is going to be larger than or equal to 10, or n times 1 minus p is going to be larger than equal to 10. After we figure out our plan, we then go to our do. And what's our do? Well, different people say different things. This is from my statistic friends in books, but they say right out the general, go to specific, create a picture. This is your picture, my friends. All right. So create your picture, find your z-score, find then the p-value, either using your calculator or going from there. So you want to find this, state your picture. You could even use that p-value, use your normal CDF to help you figure out that as well, but you go from there. Okay, and then finally, once you get that p, all right, once you go from here and get your p-value, all right, then you can make your conclusion. So then you look at this and say, okay, what do we conclude? If you realize that your value is larger than the alpha, okay, larger than the alpha value, then you're going to not reject, you fail to reject. We do not have convincing evidence against null, so we fail to reject. If we do have convincing evidence, all right, then we would reject the null with going from there. One little side step is right here when you're doing a hypothesis testing. You want to know if you have A, all right, if you're trying to figure out if the p-value is not equal to so whatever number you got there, then you need to do a two-sided value. So when you find your p-value, you need to multiply by 2. That's a little helpful hint that sometimes gets some students, and even myself sometimes, screwed up. So if you ever have some testing and you have this, all right, some sort of value, and then you find it doesn't equal that, that's where you find a two-sided, you find your p-value, and you have to multiply by 2. All right, well, we're going to go through some examples on this in just a little bit. So here are the notes. You probably want to write these down of how to construct, all right, a significance test for P. All right, a Z test for P. All right, good luck and God bless.